Okay, hi again. It's Beth Erlander, aka the Grief Freak. If you want to learn more about what I do and who I am, go to my website, www.grieffreak.com. So, I wanted to speak briefly on the vagus nerve and how to stimulate it and how to bring it more online. So, this is particularly important when our nervous system goes into overload, and just not to get into too much detail, but just explaining briefly how the nervous system works. We have I'm going to explain two different kinds. We have the nervous system that goes into fight, flight, or freeze mode. It is the mode that we go into when we're in high alert and high alarm. So that's called your sympathetic nervous system. In contrast to that, we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is mainly your rest and digest, chill out nervous system. Um, so there are certain ways you can access that. Um, and it's mainly through stimulating the vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve it goes, I don't know exactly where it attaches to, somewhere in the brain, and then it comes through your face, goes down your neck, goes down through your sternum. This is where it's closest to the skin, is in the sternum. And then it totally goes into the your core, where your digestive organs, all your organs are. It's connected in there. And then it goes through the colon and down through the anus and out. So it actually goes through the entire digestive tube. So I want to give you a list of 17 ways to stimulate the vagus nerve. And again, I learned this in a webinar from Kimberly Johnson and Aaron Brandt, which I was so grateful for. So number one is smiling and making eye contact. It's very important. And if you don't feel like smiling, even just the act of it's a great day, like making yourself smile activates the nerves. So number two is smelling, things that smell really good and are pleasant to you, and hopefully you can still smell. So that's another way. One of the quickest ways to access or stimulate or bring on relaxation for your vagus nerve and for your body is listening to your favorite music. So it's really important to have that accessible to you right now, to know what is my favorite music, what is music that helps me calm down. That's important to have and to have access to. So put it on your phones or your computers. Singing and toning and activating the throat is really good. Singing is especially good because it forces you to breathe. So yeah, singing, toning, chanting, any of that is really good for your vagus nerve. Laughing is good, so making yourself or watching funny videos is really good. Drinking warm liquids is helpful because your vagus nerve is attached to your esophagus in your throat. This next one is not my favorite because I don't really like eating a big meal, but eating a big meal also puts pressure on the vagus nerve with your belly when it expands. So there you go. You're supposed to eat a lot. Breathing deeply. I've been doing the Wim Hof, his 11-minute YouTube video every morning, and that's a really great resource. Maybe I'll find a way to add that in here somehow. Anyway, but that's a great resource. Another thing that you can do is give yourself an orgasm. I think when you have an orgasm, I think the whole vagus nerve is activated and relaxed. Your body just completely relaxes. So if you have the ability to do that with somebody else, great. If not, finding a way to do it with yourself is really helpful. Pooping is helpful to stimulate your vagus nerve, and it makes me think oh, that's why it always feels so good after we take a good shit, right? It helps, the body feels more relaxed because the vagus nerve has been activated in that part of the body. Walking in nature is really important because the bilateral stimulation with your footsteps helps a part of your brain that can get really activated. It helps that to calm down. It's also a way that we process trauma. I could speak more about that with like EMDR, but the bilateral stim is really good. Plus, just being out in nature. So that's another one. Get outside, be in your favorite places. And don't just go for a hike. Like, start to connect with nature. It's really important to just be. Find your favorite place near you. If you are lucky, like me, I am close to the mountains in the foothills in Boulder, Colorado. And if you don't have access to that, is it possible for you to bring nature in and connect to it in your own ways? So I've got my plants, I've got a rock, I've got a feather. You know, it's important and very grounding, actually. Another one is rocking back and forth. Helps. You can also rock this way, but I think I have a preference to right side, left side rocking, kind of with the walking and bilateral stimulation. Being in warm water is helpful. Bathing is helpful. Showering. Yeah, that helps calm and activate your vagus nerve. Cuddling, if you can, is good. And then they added a few other ones. Silly cat videos, making yourself laugh. And then also just feeling held. And can you just feel held by the earth and gravity below you? I think that's especially important for those of us who are isolated and alone right now. Like, our partner right now is the earth below us. It's always there. So I hope those tips help. I think it's really important to cultivate some kind of practice and to use those, especially when you're feeling a heightened sense of alarm or panic. So